Welcome to Nightmare Echoes. Listen, scream, and embrace your horror obsession. In this episode, Eleazar and Jesse go back to the world of Suspiria with the 1980 follow-up Inferno. Join us as we answer the following questions. What's with all the cats? Which character are we supposed to be following? And are there witches in this movie about witchcraft? Next on the podcast, we have the 2019 radio silence film Ready or Not. Enjoy the episode. Hello everybody, welcome back to Nightmare Echoes. I'm your host Eleazar. I'm joined again by co-host Jesse. Jesse, how's it going?
Pretty awesome.
It's great to be back on another Monday on the Nightmare Echoes episode. I can't even talk. And yes, we are covering Inferno, 1980, the sequel to Suspiria, 1977. Before we start, if you haven't seen it, I do think you should watch it. It's still good, I think. Better than the third one, in my opinion, Mother of Tears. But there had been such a long gap between those. So first one, 77, then 80, and then 2007 for Mother of Tears.
It's crazy.
I feel like the whole style went out the window. It was a different era.
Interesting.
You didn't see it, right?
I have not seen the third one.
Yeah. No. It's like they replaced the beautiful music and the beautiful lights with beautiful breasts. They're not covered in any way, shape, or fashion, so that
Some would consider that an upgrade, I think. But
yeah, I mean...
Not me.
There are horror movies that have exposed breasts, and I don't mind them there. But I hope those horror movies still have a decent storyline, great music, and by the time I got to that one, 2007, I don't think it was there.
Yeah.
But still Argento film. But anyway, 1980, Inferno.
I did feel very strongly right from the beginning, like, oh, good, he's got the same style, right?
Yes.
I'm like, this is all right. It was quite corny. I felt like it was maybe even cornier than the first one.
Yeah.
They're both pretty corny.
They are. They do good at the switching who we're supposed to be focusing on a few times. I did enjoy that. I wasn't sure who to care about, who to follow.
Yeah.
Just other than, now we're following this person, which is interesting. Directed by Dario Argento, although for a big portion of the film he was sick, and so he had another person stand in and film some scenes. So the big water scene, apparently Dario Argento had a severe case of hepatitis, and he was gone. Mario Brava had to direct that scene as well as other scenes. Dario Argento said this was his most difficult film in filming, probably because he was too sick to be there for a lot of the time.
Right.
But we start the film. It's April in New York. I don't know why they kept putting April, because I don't think it ever became May. It was just April. And they kept letting us know that like it was important.
That's odd.
Yeah, and we meet Rose Elliott, who's opening a book that she just purchased called The Three Mothers. We get a voiceover of the author, Valery, who warns us against the very idea of giving this knowledge to normal people in society. He speaks of meeting the three mothers where he designed and built three places where they became powerful witches. One in Rome, one in New York, and one in Freiburg, Germany. The Freiburg one is the one we saw the events play out in the first movie, Suspiria. But Valery discovered too late that those three mothers would rule the world with sorrow, tears, and darkness. Mater Suspiriorum, the mother of tears, who is the oldest of the three in Freiburg. Mater Lacrimorum, the mother of tears and the most beautiful of the sisters in Rome, and Mater Tenebrarum, the mother of darkness, who is the youngest and cruelest of the three in New York. As he goes on, he speaks about how bad they are, and we get the title card in Inferno. Valery compares the three mothers to the three muses, the three graces, the three fates, and the three furies. He tells that the land that the houses are built will eventually become deadly and plague-ridden, which will lead to the area around it reeking horribly, and he calls this the first key. The second key is hiding in the cellar under their houses, which is where we can find the name of the sisters living in that house. And the third key can be found under the soles of your shoes. So then Rose starts writing a letter to her brother Mark, who lives in Rome. First we see the picture of the book, then it pans to see the picture on the wall in her own apartment, and then it cuts away to show us that she is living in that building. And then we see her walk outside to mail the letter, and we get to see all these beautiful colors again. Yeah. There's definitely some purple in this one, which I liked a lot. I love purple.
I noticed there was more. You got your red, green, and blue in this one, not just red.
This is true. Yeah, I like it a lot. This is very definitely beautiful. As she's walking back from the mailbox, though, she sees a grate that leads underground, and a voiceover in her head repeats that the second key lies in the cellar. First, she knocks on the bookseller's door to talk to the bookseller, which is Kazanian, who, if he believes the books are real, Kazanian doesn't have any faith in them. He said they were just written by alchemists, and there's other places in the world that people believe are damned houses. The Balgaria Villa of Monsters near Palomero, the House of Peacocks in Brussels, and the Salamander Mason in France. He goes on to say that some people believe in those books, and they're mostly women. Rose mentions that the book references an odor and that she does notice that there's a bittersweet smell around this place, and he says that he blames the cake factory that's nearby.
Yeah, I was the first ridiculous thing that I noticed in this movie was the idea of this outside door into the ground, completely unlocked in the middle of New York City.
Yes, of course.
Like that, there would be no room left in there. There would be so many people squatting in that underground.
Unless they really couldn't stand the smell.
But these are homeless people.
No, you're right. It's ridiculous that it was left unlocked.
Yeah.
After leaving the store, she goes to that grate. We get another voiceover saying the second key, and she goes downstairs. And we see a shot where the bookseller, I can't tell from the angle if he's supposed to notice that she goes down the grate or not, because he's looking out, but it was behind the wall. I don't think he could have seen her go down.
Yeah.
I think we're supposed to get the impression that he knows that's where she went.
Or suspects or something.
Yeah. So as she goes down, trail of water to a big opening. I don't know if it's like 3-foot circle opening, and it's filled with water. And as she's looking, her keys fall from her waist.
It's an opening, but it looks like it's an unintentional opening, like something has collapsed, like a hole, not like a...
Right. It's not like a perfect circle.
Right. And the water in it is perfectly clear.
Oh, my gosh.
Which seems a little strange considering everything, you know.
It's about to happen, too.
Yeah, I would think that water would be so filthy, but whatever. Okay.
So, fortunately for her, her keys get caught on a chandelier that's just a few feet out of reach.
Yeah. Okay,
so she takes off her shoes. She turns on this light. She takes a dip in. She tries to reach with her hand, but she ain't go. She goes a little further when she frees the keys from the chandelier. Of course, she drops them, and they sink all the way to the bottom. So she goes up for air.
I kind of like the fact that there's just this underground mansion, and it's crazy. Just abandoned, and rooms are filled with water. That's a neat thought. Like, I want that to be a game, you know?
I mean, we could bring scuba gear. So we could actually hang out at the table and play a game together.
That's right. No, I was just saying I want that to be like a video game level, right?
Yeah.
Where you're in this dilapidated, subterranean, half-flooded witch's mansion.
Yeah. So she goes into the water, and it's this massive ballroom. She has to swim all the way down to the bottom. The actress was chosen because she was a synchronized swimmer, and she had a good ability to swim. When she gets the keys down there, all the way to the bottom, we see a door open in this room, and then a decaying body floats next to her. Scares her. She screams as much as one could scream underwater. She swims up as fast as she can, but she doesn't really aim for the hole, so she bumps her head, which makes her scream again. At this point, I'm thinking she's going to run out of oxygen because she's screaming or swallow water and drown.
Yeah.
But she's able to make it over to that opening, and she pulls herself out again.
She's got Mario blood or something.
Yeah, right.
You know, she can...
She swam underwater a long time. And now that she's above the water, we see that the light that she'd set up has been smashed. We don't know by whom. As she runs, there we see a black glove come and pick up something she dropped. I can't tell if it was lipstick or what. But apparently those hands and the hands in and out of the glove throughout the whole movie are Dario Argento's. He played the hands.
Okay, well, Dario Argento didn't seem to ever do anything with that lipstick throughout the movie.
Yeah, there was not a point to that being dropped. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
She goes back to her building. She gets on her elevator, and she's worried that someone is looking for her. She hears noises. Now we cut to Rome, again in April. We see a big lecture hall where people are in the audience are using headsets to hear the lecture that's being given in Italian. Mark is in the class, and his friend Sarah comes in late and sits next to him. The class is listening to a piece of music, and Mark pulls out the letter from his sister, and the moment that he does, a very beautiful woman who has a very fluffy cat with her just makes eye contact with him, and he can't concentrate anymore. I was trying to read the letter. We were getting an inner monologue, but he doesn't get too far because the woman doesn't stop looking at him, and he seems distracted. He starts to actually look like he's getting sick. He loses a place where he's in the song, and Sarah notices. She turns the page for him and points to where he's supposed to be paying attention to the music. Do you know who this woman is?
The woman he's staring at?
Yeah.
I assumed that was supposed to be the Mater Lacrimosarum or whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah, the mother of tears.
Lacrimarum, I guess.
Right. Who, by the time we get to the third movie, looks nothing like that at all.
I'm losing my Latin. Okay, so maybe it wasn't her. Then.
I think it was. I mean, everybody seems to think it was, she was just recast later, which doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
But it was supposed to be her.
Things, in fairness, a lot of things about these movies don't make sense. So
this is true.
Maybe we should just accept the not sense making and just accept, because for me, the fun of these movies is the aesthetics more than the story making any kind of sense.
Yeah, I agree.
So
it's beautiful, great music,
and it's a beautiful woman who looks very scary, and it's just a cool scene.
I told my dad this is why I would not survive in this world.
Yeah,
because if this beautiful woman, blonde hair, blue eyed, was just staring me down, and she was like, "Follow me," I'm like, "Okay." Like I would have died. Like, what happened? How did I die? Dang it! Right. He stops reading the letter, and once he stops reading the letter, she stops staring at him. The song ends and the lecture ends. She's not there anymore, but he's so ready to leave that he grabs the stuff, but he leaves the letter. So Sarah, his friend, grabs the letter that she sees there. We see her in a cab, and the rain is falling very heavily. It reminds me of our first scene from Suspiria, where the person's taking a cab in the rain as well.
Nice reference, yeah.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for someone in this movie to say, "Oh, hi, Mark," and it never happens.
Why?
Because that's one of the most famous lines from The Room.
Okay.
You know that movie, right?
I'm not sure I do.
Okay, so The Room was a very famous movie that was made by a crazy, very sketchy guy, and it was just famous for being a terrible movie. And people made fun of it endlessly, and almost every scene has become a meme, and it has a cult following because of its unintentional humor.
About what year did it come out?
2003.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Tommy Wiseau.
Okay.
So Tommy Wiseau is a total meme.
Okay.
The real low life.
So if they did, it wouldn't have been a reference to it, though.
I'm not saying that it was really going to happen. I'm just saying there's a character named Mark. My brain just keeps waiting for an hi Mark somewhere because it's such a meme.
I get it. All right, so in this cab, she opens the letter and she reads that the building in Rome where the witch should reside is Via del Bagni, number 49. She tells the driver that's where she wants to go. On the way, she rolls down the window and notices a sickly sweet smell. And we get there, the sign on the door, which is in Latin, I think, says library with public access, and it gives hours of operations.
I think it was probably in Italian.
Oh, right. Thank you. Italian.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
Which is not far from Latin.
When she's getting out of the cab, there's a nail for some reason sticking out of the door, and she pokes her hand on it and bleeds a little.
It wasn't really a nail. It was part of the decoration sort of on the inside. There was like a array of little spike-shaped things that are coming off of the handle.
In the cab?
Oh, sorry. We're talking about a different scene.
No, yeah.
You're right. I'm confused. You're absolutely right. No, that was just
a nail sticking out of the door.
I think it was supposed to be the cab driver works for the witches or something.
Yeah.
Not very well thought through.
I don't know. But she pokes her fingers. She's standing out in the rain. Then she walks over to the building. The attendant nods or smiles her way, and she flinches, which is a did giveaway to tell someone you shouldn't be there. It's just weird. But then he asks her what's wrong. She says nothing. She goes in the building. Do you think when they cast the people, they told them all the women they were going to get drenched?
I don't know.
In the library, it's a beautiful library with books all the way to the ceiling where you have the ladders that scoot over on wheels so you can access these high books. I think they're beautiful.
They are.
When she's walking in, there's a woman that smiles and laughs when she sees Sarah, but maybe it's just because she's wet. She makes her way to the book section, which is illuminated in red. Then the librarian asks if she's looking for something, and she says no at first, but then says, yes, I'm looking for a book called The Three Mothers. And he goes, oh, you're standing right next to it. She turns around, and sure enough, in the red section she was already looking at is the book.
And please dry your hands off before grabbing it. Thank you.
No lie. Right. When she opens the book, we get the line, this book is neither fiction nor a work of imagination. It goes on to say that is from the diary of Valeri, who disappeared under mysterious circumstances many years ago, and that he wrote it in Latin, so they decided to publish the book in Latin. Then she starts to hear her name being whispered. The librarian walks by ringing a bell saying it's closing time, and she gets the idea that she wants to sneak away with the book, but instead of sneaking out, she descends to a lower level, which is lit in blue. I didn't get that, because if it's a library book, just come back the next day.
Yeah, I didn't understand it either. I mean, most of this movie makes no sense.
Okay, great.
But that was also true of Suspiria.
Suspiria. So yeah, completely. She hears more whispering and she descends. She goes further, and now she makes it to a red lit area. She finally makes it down to an area with many pots cooking, some kind of broth.
I think the implication was that these are potions, or this is some sort of alchemist or something, because they mentioned alchemy earlier.
And there might be 10 flames that are going off high. Many of the pots aren't actually on the flames. They're just to the side of the flames. She's holding the book. She tries to get this man's attention that's on the other side. On the third attempt, he does hear her. She says she wants to find a way out. And he says, try the other door. And then he looks in the mirror and he sees that she's holding the book. So he takes off his black gloves, and we see his hands are like long fingernails. They're either burned or scarred like crazy. They look gross.
But why do they lend the book out to people if they don't want people reading it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't get that either. There seems to be a lot of them, because the bookseller, Kazanian, had 3 more copies in his bookstore. So I think it's just a publicized book that they haven't been able to get all copies out of circulation.
But one of them is in the library right over where this guy is. Like,
you're right. That doesn't make sense.
None of this. It's just.
You're completely right. They could have found that one.
Like the freaking Dario Argento is on drugs. I don't know. Hopefully, literally, because it sounded like he was not in good shape.
So she runs. He grabs her. When she drops the book, he lets her go. There's 3 doors to get to the outside. On the second one, this is the decorative handle that you thought.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
And her shirt is caught up there, one of the buttons. She has to rip her shirt to get free.
She really doesn't have to. She just has to simply remove it from the thing, right? From the little spike.
Yeah.
She could easily just do that. It was immediately obvious. I wanted to reach through the screen and just pick the thing up over the spike. Yeah. And I'm like, are you like one of these infomercial people? Like, why can't I hold all these limes?
It was a little more difficult than... Yeah, she made it more difficult than it had to be. That's too funny. She arrives back at her building. When she gets into her elevator, there's another gentleman there named Carlo. He asks her what's floor, and he has to ask her twice because she seems scared. She's trying to hold her shirt closed because she ripped it open, and the man can't not notice that it's ripped. I don't know that he was trying to get a peek other than he looked like she was in distress. But when he's about to get out on her floor, she asks to stop. That she tells him she's afraid to be alone, and so he goes with her. Again, I would die in this horror movie. I would go with her too. But she's not evil.
I mean, I just... Also, as long as we're taking the opportunity to complain about everything that makes no sense, because why not?
Yeah.
I did mention this with Suspiria, too, but, like, these so-called witches don't ever seem to do any magic. They don't seem to be able to catch a girl who's running away. Like, they don't have that power. And once again, we've got a bunch of unlocked doors in a library where apparently all kinds of sinister stuff is going on. And these are some incompetent witches, is all I'm saying.
You're right. I agree. Even though I do love this movie. I like the first one better. But you're right. A lot of things don't make sense. Now in her apartment, Carlo's there with her. She asks him if he sees anything strange, and he's asking, like, how strange? And she tells him about the 3 sisters, and he goes, oh, you mean the 3 black singers? Which I think is so funny. She tells him no about mythology, about the triad. It's like, I don't believe any of that. He only believes in what he can see and what he can touch. She puts him on some music, which she thinks he should be familiar with. But during the music, we focus on outside sky, and we notice that it's a full moon, and it zooms in multiple times to get closer to the moon. Like, we're supposed to be creeped out by the fact that it's a full moon.
Yeah, it doesn't work on me. The whole scene where they're, like, arguing had 2 effects on me. Like, the first thing was, it was a really awkward conversation. Like, that's not how people talk to each other, right? Like, randomly bringing things up and being suddenly angry and like, what? Like, what? Yeah. The whole exchange didn't make any sense. It was not like a human conversation. Her sudden bursts of anger at him answering her questions in pretty normal ways was very odd. And the second thing that I took away from that scene was just that this woman is really a truly terrible actress.
Oh, really?
I mean, she is such a bad actress. It's breathtaking.
Okay.
And that is yet another source of amusement in this movie, I think.
But she was pretty.
I have a hunch that would be the criterion by which she was hired.
Right. Sarah then goes to call her friend Mark to tell him that she got the letter and that he needs to come over and read it because it's important. She tells him to come over right now. We see a pair of black gloves holding a line of paper cutout dolls. The music plays as we see him cut off the first head. We see a lizard eat a moth. Then as he keeps going, we see a woman somewhere being hung that has no relation to this movie at all. And then by the time he gets to the last one, the power dies in Sarah's apartment or starts flickering on and off repeatedly. Carlo asks where the fuse box is and she tells him, but she doesn't want him to go. He says not to worry. She asks him to just keep calling out so she knows where he is. And after a little bit, she gets too scared, so she starts heading his way. She knocks over an ashtray made of glass and it shatters on the floor. As she heads to him, the power keeps coming back on and off. And when she makes it to him, the power's all the way back on. She finds Carlo, but he's been stabbed through the neck with a knife. He falls on top of her, and she struggles to get out from under him as he's just there dying, asking for help. And the glove man pulls the knife out and then stabs Sarah in the back.
Once again, the witch's main power in both movies is their ability to stab someone with their hands.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it either. Mark has now made it to Sarah's apartment and no one's there. He finds two pieces of shreds of Rose's original letter, which talk about the building and the third key being under the shoes. He pockets his papers and he finds the ashtray. He then sees hands ripping through a piece of wall or fabric that looks like a wall, and then Sarah falls through dying. Now the police are there to investigate, and we see the beautiful woman with the fluffy cat drive by, keeping eye contact with Mark. The police ask him if he knows anything, and he says she was dead when he got there, which I don't think was necessarily true. I think she was dying when he got there.
Yeah.
But Mark calls his sister Rose in New York. They don't have a good line. She asked if he read the letter, and he said he didn't get a chance to, that a lot's happened. She sounds really frustrated, but he can't get through, and then the phone disconnects. I guess they couldn't call back.
I think I just remembered that we're talking about someone different who I was talking for about a minute ago.
Which one? The actress?
Yeah, I think I was thinking about a different scene. I think I was thinking about the other actress who was really terrible.
The one that played Rose? Not the one that played Sarah?
Oh, geez, I don't remember the names of the characters well.
The one that lived in New York or the one that lived in Rome?
I think the one that lived in New York. I think the main character, the main girl, is the one that I was thinking of.
Okay, that's Rose. She dies really early. Or she
I guess I don't remember.
Next.
Yeah, I don't remember.
She dies
anymore.
next. Yeah.
I'm getting all confused. Like you said, this movie keeps focusing on different people, and
it does.
You know, that's my weakness because I have a hard time with remembering different characters sometimes. And
yeah, that doesn't even count the really wealthy lady we meet even later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now we're cutting to Rose in New York, who she's angry when she hangs up the phone. She hears someone trying to come into her apartment, so she runs and hides. She grabs the doorknob, which has been broken, so the glass cuts her hand. She gets outside the apartment anyway. She starts running down the stairs. She's trying to take them further down. We see a shadow on the other side of the room right before she makes it outside. So she runs back into this abandoned area of the building. We get a shots of cat's eyes looking at her. She hears footsteps and then thunder, which causes her to scream. And then she makes it to an area lit in red and yellow, which is filled with cobwebs. She walks through some puddles when a door slams in her face and glass shatters on impact. She's then grabbed by someone with those same burnt or scarred hands with long fingernails. She's laid where a pane of glass can be slammed down on her throat like a guillotine. But unfortunately, unlike a guillotine, it doesn't kill her in one. They keep having to slam it to get into her throat. Yeah. That's gotta suck.
Yeah, that's not the way you want to be beheaded.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Now it's daytime and Mark has made it to New York. He stands outside the building. Inside he sees a woman and a young man placing a large piece of meat into brown wrapping paper. The woman is Carol, the caretaker. That's how she's credited. And she's played by Aldia Valli, who played Mrs. Tanner in Suspiria. Mm-hmm. She's the one that I said always smiled all the time. When Mark explains who he is and why he's there, she's very happy to see him. She gives him the key to room 45 because she has an extra set of keys. Mark goes up with a nurse and a man in a wheelchair who's named Professor Arnold. The nurse is just credited as the nurse. Uh-huh. When the nurse asks what he does for a living, she gets confused and thinks he means toxicology when he's trying to say that he studies music. And she says that Rose did strange work as well, and he goes, no, she writes poetry. The nurse says, I guess that's a pastime suited for women. Mark's down on the 4th floor, and he uses the key to get in Rose's apartment. When he closes the door, he feels the broken glass doorknob, so he's careful not to cut himself when closing it. He goes to find the phone that's on the floor. He picks it up. He sees a note that's carved into a piece of leather that says martyr.
Yeah.
And then we get another POV of meat being chopped up. It's nighttime, and someone's feeding that meat to a dog. Then we're back. Mark's looking through Rose's stuff, and he hears someone call out Rose's name. He opens the apartment door, and the woman who was there saw the lights on and thought that Rose might be back. She says that she's Rose's friend, and he explained who he is, followed by asking how she was able to throw her voice all around the apartment. She shows him the hole in the wall, which is a pipe that she also has outside her apartment, and if you speak into it, it can amplify your voice into the apartment. She's standing like she's trying to hide it. I don't know if she's doing it on purpose, but under her feet are drops of blood that Rose dropped when she was running for her life because her hand was bleeding. He invites her to come in. She agrees, but only for a little bit. She asks that he not close the door because someone's going to come for her shortly to tell her she has a phone call. This actress is Dario Nicolodi, who co-wrote Suspiria and is uncredited for the story of Inferno, but she did help write it. She said it was too much trouble to fight for the credit in the first one, that it wasn't worth fighting for the credit of story in the second one. While never married, she was Dario Argento's longtime partner. They actually have a kid together.
Wow,
he was also an actress.
That unwilling to credit her for her work. Huh?
It's weird. Yeah, I don't get
strange.
It. But that woman has appeared in all three of the movies. She was in the airport in the very beginning of Suspiria as just an uncredited woman. She also does the voice of Helena Marcos in the first one. And then she plays one of the victims in the third movie.
Okay.
But her name is Elise Stallone Van Alder. Elise tells Mark that she's been living there for 5 years and her husband's job keeps him traveling all the time and she can't go with him because she's not well. In another part of the building, we see a curtain opening to reveal a skylight, and outside we see that it's night and it's still a full moon. In the room, there's a cat. Mark is explaining that since Rose called for him, he doesn't understand why she would have left, and he asks what kind of people live in the building. Elise explains that there's not a lot of tenants. Mark wants to know if there's anyone special here because the piece of the letter he was unable to see gave him a hint that there would be. Elise said that the building used to be owned by a rich old eccentric and closed after he died, but eventually an investment company took over. I wonder if they don't have a lot of tenants because of that sickly sweet smell.
I don't know. They didn't make too big a deal about it earlier.
Yeah, but an apartment complex in New York without
mentioned,
a lot of tenants.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
that doesn't. That's yet another bizarre. Like, I guess you've never been to New York.
Yeah,
Mr.
right.
Argento.
Yeah. Mark then asks about Kazanian, and she tells him that he's the bookseller and the antique dealer who owns the shop next door, and that Rose bought a lot of rare books from him. Just then, John, who is Elise's butler, tells her she's wanted on the telephone. And in the elevator, the man notices that there's blood on the bottom of her feet, and she claims that it's just paint. Which is when I suspected her of something wrong, because she was sure it was paint. We get to Mr. Kazanian. He's reading a magazine in his bed when he hears a bang. We see a POV shot of someone in his store and taking all 3 remaining copies of The Three Mothers from his shelves. Mr. Kazanian uses one of his crutches to open the door to look in the shop, but he doesn't see anyone. He decides to go into the shop and call who's there, because that works in every horror movie.
Absolutely.
He's scratched by a cat, and then the cat knocks over a jade statue and hits the floor and it breaks. Elise is asking John how much of the medicine he injected her with, and he tells her that it was 200 milligrams, and the second dose was 400 milligrams, which is the most she's allowed to take. He asks if he should prepare a bath for her, and she tells him thank you. And while he's preparing the bath, she cleans off the bottom of her feet and realizes that it is in fact blood. When John tells her the bath is ready, she dismisses him for the day, and she asks her bird to be quiet while she sneaks out and leaves undetected. Elise is back with Mark and tells him that she stepped on blood and asks if he notices the broken doorknob, which he has. She tells him about Rose's ravings and about her fear of death and the myth of the 3 mothers. While she's explaining about the building and the builder, we get some weird camera movements as the camera rocks up and down to get closer to the vent where someone is in another area who can hear them speaking. She tells him that she often feels like someone is in the room with her, and a laugh rings out through the vent. But Mark didn't hear it. Only she heard it. Mark here does notice the blood. It has a trail to the service area. So Mark goes to look, and Elise is too scared to go with him. Mark follows the blood down to the abandoned area. He gets sidetracked by a vent. When he looks in the vent, some wind comes through, and he starts getting really sick. Elise finds the curtain that had Rose's bloody handprint on it earlier, and she starts calling for Mark, and then goes to follow the way he went. We see a mysterious figure approach Mark. Then from across the way, as if in another building, Elise looks out the window and to another set of windows and sees Mark being dragged away unconsciously. So at this part of the movie, I thought Mark was dead. And now Elise is our main character, but I was wrong.
There were so many scenes around this in this area that were like red and green and blue.
Yeah.
I started wondering if there was like a symbolism, like they represent the 3 mothers or something like that. But
maybe.
I'm
it was
not
really
sure.
pretty.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Afraid she has been seen, she makes her way back up, and we get some interesting shots of mechanisms that look like locks, the inside of locks, which are being locked by themselves. She keeps climbing up until she finds the door that's open, and she finds herself in a room with lots of cobwebs. Several cats start to attack her, and she screams on the ground.
This is maybe one of the funniest scenes in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like there's clearly off screen on one of the walls, there's clearly a cat gun that's just like launching cats at her because they're just ragdolling, just splatting into her head and stuff like this. And the whole time it was so absurd. I was imagining like the crazy cat lady from The Simpsons is just off screen going, ah, rah, 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 and just hurling cats at her.
Apparently the assistant director has refused to work with cats ever again after this movie.
Well, I would think the cats would refuse to work with him ever again too after getting launched at this poor girl's face.
And then, if the cats weren't enough, the man with the gloves brings the knife and kills her. So I'm like, okay, so Elise is not a main character. I thought we were out of characters. And then we see that Mark is alive, walking into the lobby. He's found by Carol and the nurse. He believes he's having heart trouble, and the nurse says, then you need heart medicine. And they gave him what looks like water, he barely swallows any, and asks where his sister is, and they say they're going to take him back to her apartment. He then loses consciousness and dreams of the ocean.
Yeah.
He wakes up in Rose's apartment and it's daytime. He looks outside, puts his hand on the window frame, and ants crawl all over him. According to Dario Argento, a gentleman was hired to collect the ants. All he did was go to Central Park, vacuum up ant piles, and then took them out of the bag when he got to the hotel and let them free where they needed them to be.
This sounds like a bad idea.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I agree. Oh my gosh. Well, that's like, oh, I could get you ants. Let me just go to the park. Mark goes to speak with Elise. He buzzes a couple times. He speaks through the pipe like she taught him to. And inside you can see John the butler standing there, but not moving so he doesn't get hurt. Then in the lobby, Mr. Kazanian is complaining to Carol about the cats. Always coming in his shop. He says he's going to call the police or the Board of Health. He tells her about the statue that she broke and that he got scratched.
I don't get what the deal is about the cats. I don't get where these cats are coming from.
I don't know. They must be attracted to the smell or somehow involve the witch's power. It doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then Mark asks Sir Mr. Kazanian leaves. Mark asks Carol what happened last night. She said that they gave him some heart medicine, and he says he doesn't have heart problems. They're like, but it worked, and you're fine now. So he's thankful, even though he doesn't remember any of the events that happened to him the night before.
That's, very strange.
Which is weird because I thought then that Carol was in on it, but she is not.
Yeah.
So he runs out to go after Mr. Kazanian. He figures out who he is. Mr. Kazanian doesn't put any beliefs into what he's talking about, but tells him there's a big eclipse coming and then Mark should watch it because they haven't had one in like 60 years. And then Mark says he will, and then Mr. Kazanian goes into his store, tells him goodbye, and closes the door behind him.
It's just so random. Like, by the way, in this unrelated conversation, let me bring up the eclipse to you, random person who I don't know. What?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's supposed to set up so that in a little bit here, when Mr. Kazanian dies, we weren't surprised that an eclipse happened.
But it's set up in the most unnatural and random possible way. It comes from nowhere. It's just so forced in with there's nothing to really introduce it or to make that motivated. It's so bad. You're
completely right. It made no sense. I'm looking for my lost sister. Did you hear about the eclipse? I'll check it out. Thanks so much. Bye bye.
It's like if you were to walk into a store and say, "Hi, do you sell chewing gum?" And they were to say, "No. By the way, there's a lady who lives 3 blocks away and she has cats." Right? Like that was what it felt like to me.
Okay,
it was very random. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So, speaking of cats, Mr. Kazanian in a store hears one, and he goes to pretend like he's going to pet it, and he grabs it by the back of the neck, pulls it up, and puts it in a chest. He has a big sack full of cats.
Yeah.
Apparently he's been capturing a ton of them. He's crazy. Yeah,
he's a psycho. And he's going to go, drown the freaking cats in the river.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, this dude's crazier than the witches.
We cut to that.
I'll take the witches over this dude.
So for this scene, they made a mechanism that moved around so it would look like animals were in there trying to escape.
Yeah,
and then they had
mechanism.
Add Sound effects afterwards. So he takes them to the water at nighttime. He's trying to force the cats underwater with a crutch, but they're not sinking, so he goes farther into the water. When he finally gets them pushed down, he's so happy and celebrating when his crutch slips and he falls into the water. Then rats that we have been seeing build up in population come. They start attacking him like crazy.
Yay, friends.
Yeah. The rats are the heroes in this scene, sure. As he's calling out for help, the lunar eclipse does happen, and they're eating him where no one could see. But eventually this guy that works at the behind the scenes said hamburger place, but I saw it say hot dogs. Whatever. This hamburger / hot dog food truck runs out. You think he's going to run to help him. What I didn't notice, I thought he just knew where to run where he wouldn't fall in. But apparently he was supposed to be running on water. But they built a plexiglass thing.
I didn't
get that at all. Yeah. I thought he was just running up to him.
Yeah.
So I missed that part completely. But when he gets there, instead of helping him, he pulls out a knife and starts chopping at his neck slowly, which had to hurt.
Why would he bother to do whatever?
I know, right?
Why even ask?
Yeah. And then after he's killed him, he rolls Mr. Kazanian into the water so he could sink. And that's the end of him.
Yeah, well, it was a very horrifying death scene. I will give them credit for that. I mean, what a death scene, right? Like,
sure.
Talk about your slow and painful deaths.
Yeah.
I mean,
right? Ow.
But then on the other hand, it's also it's tied with the cat launcher for the funniest scene in the movie. I mean, he has some lines that are so unbelievable, right? He's like, he goes, "Help! Rats are eating me! They're eating me alive!" That is for sure the most quotable line of the movie is,
sure,
"Help! Rats are eating me! They're eating me alive."
Yeah.
What a scene is all I'm saying. And
all right, good.
I gotta wonder whether Dario Argento thinks it's perfectly normal for people who are annoyed by cats to put them in a bag and drown them. Does he think that's normal behavior?
I don't know.
I'm not clear on that. Italy is a different place, you know. I don't know.
Yeah. So then we have a scene where John the butler is showing Carol all the jewelry and money that was left behind by Elise. And he said it only took him 15 minutes to find it. He was so proud of it. Carol tells John to call the husband and tell him that she's left and that she took all of her stuff with them. John is concerned that Elise will come back, but Carol assures him that she won't. She's all excited, saying that they'll both now get to live it up like those rich bastards. If Carol's so sure that she won't be back, then Carol had to have taken part in killing her, but she's not with the witches. Has she just been killing people this whole time? And the witches aren't doing the killing?
I doubt the writer even thought about the question.
Yeah, I got you.
Honestly. I think that in these movies, the characters, no motive has really been thought of. There's just sort of what would be a general, vague, or a creepy thing for this person to say or do.
Right.
Like, I think that's how these movies work.
John then goes to Elise's apartment, and when he attempts to turn on the light, we see that the bulb has been broken. Before he can make the call, he hears a noise and asks who's there. He's grabbed by the same scary-looking hand, and Carol hears and gets worried. Carol goes inside and lights a candle that she grabbed from a candelabra and takes one of them with her. Inside, she finds John dead, and his eyes are hanging out of his eye sockets, like right in front of his cheeks. In her fright, she drops the candle, and the carpet catches fire. She tries to put it out, but instead is consumed by the fire, and she dies. We see outside the window that it's still a full moon.
Yeah. At some point here, you've got a cat eating a mouse. I don't know which scene that was in.
I think it's when Mark finds the hole using the third key logic that it's under his feet. He finds a pathway under the floor.
Okay.
But yeah.
I'll wait till we get there then.
Well, we're right about there.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Mark is studying the picture of the building in Rose's room. He's pacing back and forth, and he remembers the line, "Under the soles of your shoes," and notices the picture. There's patterns of snakes under each floor, and there's more room than there needs to be between the floors. That leads him to look under the ground, and he sees ants that are coming through a small hole in the floor. He gets a match, and he lets it go, and it drops further than it should.
It seems like a bad idea to do, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's light a match.
Well, he didn't light it, though.
Oh.
He just dropped a match on that one.
Oh, okay.
And he doesn't know fire's going on throughout the building.
Yeah.
Right.
It's spreading much more slowly than real life, which is a real problem in movies because people then are conditioned to think fire spreads very slowly.
Sure.
When in reality, that building would have been engulfed in seconds. Like it wouldn't have taken an hour for it to spread to the whole building. It would have taken a less than a minute probably.
So he grabs what looks like a ritualistic dagger. I swear they use it in part 3 as ritualistic dagger. He starts peeling up the plywood one by one, There's concrete under there, so he starts banging at it, chipping away concrete. Once he gets the hole big enough, a cat jumps through the hole and goes under it. He starts putting his arm down there to feel something. He finds a parchment or a scroll he's able to unwrap, and when he opens it, it lists the name of the three mothers. Yeah. And it's signed Valari.
Which, again, is not a particularly interesting scene because we already know the names of the three mothers. This is not new information.
Right. Mark decides to descend between the gaps in the floor, and he crawls to the blue lit area while music's there. We see a cat eating a mouse here.
Yeah, and that scene, that was definitely a real cat really eating a real mouse alive.
Yeah.
100% for sure. You could not make that movie today. And I don't think you could have even done that then in 1980 in America. If it had been an American movie, I don't think you would have gotten away with that.
Yeah, it's interesting. There are cases where people go to trial for their horror movies because the effects look so good, the practical effects, that they thought they were really killing people and filming it for this movie.
Right.
And directors really went to court to had to prove, like, they had to bring in the actors that are still alive.
It's insane that they would get to all the way to court. That's insane.
Yeah.
Something has gone wrong if a case like that makes it to court.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be a process before that to screen out those kind of stupid things.
Yeah. So Mark, he sees a door, small little sliding door. So he goes down it and it leads him to a stairwell. He goes down, he sees another door, he opens it, and it's to the next floor. But he doesn't need to go in there because he's found the stairway he wants. So he keeps descending down.
I think the point of the other door was just to show the stairway gives you access to the hidden crawl spaces on every floor.
Yeah.
That this is the secret conspiracy to monitor all the people in the building.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's kind of weird.
Then music starts playing, and it's just the names of the three mothers sung over and over again repeatedly. Yeah. He finds a window and he looks down to see the nurse wheeling in Professor Arnold. Then the nurse leaves. Professor Arnold wheels himself into the next room, and Mark follows. The professor plugs into a soundboard, and his voice can be heard by these giant speakers that are all around the room. He turns to Mark and says, since he's found it, he should know who he is. And Mark's like, I don't, though.
Yeah. It's like, Mark should have said, bro, I don't know. The plot of this thing is too hard for anyone to understand.
And the professor says that when he lived in London, he called himself Valeri. And then I'm like, oh, I get it. That's me. Like, oh, okay. The professor continues to say that he built the three houses and buried himself in this one. He can only speak with the voice box that he's connected to that machine, and he believes that the building is his body, the bricks are his cells, the pathways his veins, and the horrors that happen here are his heart. Like, okay.
So I don't understand. There's no witch in this one.
No, she appears a little bit.
You know, I know, but until this point, right?
Yeah.
Like, we didn't really, I don't know, there didn't seem to be any reason for there to be a witch. Like, in the first movie, you've got this whole place that has to be run by somebody, right?
Yes.
Whereas in this one, it just felt different somehow. Like, what is she even there for, you know?
Maybe she's just hiding.
Well, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. Mark asks about his sister, and the professor asks him to come closer because he wouldn't want the others over here. He says that she's the cruelest, she's the mother of shadows. The professor again asks him to come closer, and he can't be afraid of a man that could barely move. Then the professor stabs him with a needle. Mark knocks him over in the wheelchair, and he's hanging by the cord that lets him speak. It's kind of strangling him. Mark then sees where the puncture was and sucks out whatever was just injected to him, spits it out. Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, really.
And then the fire bursts through one of the speakers on the wall. The professor says while he's dying, nothing will change because he isn't in charge. He's just a slave. Mark asks who lives in this house, and the professor tells him that he is being watched, and we can see a shadow of someone on the other side of the door. Mark sees a figure and gets up to chase them, but the professor says to them, we are nothing but dust, and the professor dies. In the other room, Mark is running through as the fire is everywhere. He makes it down there further, holding his arm the whole time where it was injected because it's in pain. He finds a woman with her head lying in a table in a room full of candelabras. The woman says it's on fire and that it all burned down just like before. Mark says that they have to get out, and the door slams shut and the woman starts laughing. Just like before, is she referencing Suspiria?
I don't know if she's referencing that or what appeared to be the old underground mansion that we saw at the beginning.
That would make some sense.
I'm not sure.
But then it was flooded.
I don't know, man.
She stands up and says he can't leave as his journey has come to an end, but that he will be pleased and not unhappy as he will enjoy the moments of incredible brightness. Things start to shatter all over the room, and she laughs. She tells him that it isn't magic because she's not a magician, and I think you would agree. There's no magic
I agree.
in this movie.
There's no these witches don't use magic. It seems like.
She tells him that he will go through a series of changes and that he was looking for her just like his sister was looking for him. He demands to know who she is because he still hasn't figured it out. She tells him of the three mothers, naming each one, but then says that men call them a single name that strikes fear in the hearts of everyone. They call us death. As she says this, she bursts through a mirror and comes out looking like a skeleton with a robe, and then a flame engulfs her and she's gone, appearing in another part of the room. Mark kicks the door open and runs for it. Death stands there. The building starts coming down, and Mark passes where the professor was burned, and we get several shots of fire engines approaching the building. Mark makes it outside, and there's trucks there that are trying to fight the fire. Mark turns to look, and police are moving people away from the building. Inside, we see Death raise her hands, screaming as the fire rages on, and part of the building collapses on her, I think.
I don't know.
I think it killed her.
I did not get necessarily any clear sense that she was dead, but apparently she's supposed to have been, according to like the internet.
I think so. And then the same song plays with the three mothers, and the credits roll while the flames keep raging in the background.
Yeah, it's.
I think we won.
It's certainly not made very clear.
I know I like this movie,
and it's not as though anyone did anything deliberately, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I guess she's been alive for thousands of years, and oopsie, she just forgot to install smoke detectors, and there was an accidental fire, and now she died coincidentally at the same time this guy is there. What?
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, if these witches just learned about things like locks and smoke detectors, and it would solve all their problems.
I think you're right. Interestingly, the stuntman that was supposed to be doing the stunts for Mark's character got injured before the end, and so the actor that played Mark had to do all the stunts of running through the fire. He said it felt like he was unprotected if things are exploding behind him.
Yeah.
And he's glad he's alive.
I don't think I would want to work with Dario Argento.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie, it made less sense than the first one, and that's hard to do. Yeah. It made less sense, but it was cool.
I liked it. It was fun. I love the music. I love the horrors that it had. Yeah. The deaths were gruesome.
I liked the I guess hotel or whatever, or apartment building, whatever it was.
Yeah.
With the crawl spaces and stuff. It was neat.
I mean, I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah.
I'm not glad I watched the third one. I mean, I was going to.
I don't think I'm going to watch the third one. Yeah. I don't think I'm interested.
It's not. It goes around. What was the name of our main character in the first one? Do you remember? It wasn't Sarah, right?
I don't remember. No. I can look it up.
Yeah. Well, it's her daughter.
Oh, okay.
It's generation later. Her daughter, and the witches are after her because her mother killed one of the witches back in Germany. And so now she's running around Rome trying to live, and they set her up for murder. I mean, she does kill one of the witches because there's like a lot of witches following her. She slams one's head in a doorway and kills him, and so now she's wanted for murder, and everyone in the country is looking for her. It's weird.
Sounds weird.
Yeah. I think she gets a lucky kill at the end too. It's not amazing, but I'm glad I watched this one. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some neat stuff and some really funny, goofy, unintentionally funny.
Sure. Oh man. All right. Well, guys, this has been Nightmare Echoes. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to find us on Instagram, we're at Nightmare Echoes Pod. If you'd like to reach out by email, we're at nightmareechoespod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. I hope you get to hear us next time. Bye.